Welcome to L2 Wargame, the audio podcast. This is Brandon, or Mutilus on the Not Forums. I also go by Brandon Shirley on Facebook.
That's my fucking line.
Fuck you. I listened to the last podcast.
My joke.
Yeah, your date. I also have a sign-in on the Not Forums, where I go to display that what I think the game should do, and then when it says we ignore you, we don't care. Continue signing in.
My name's Karl. Play Legion and Crix.
But what are you known as on Facebook?
Nothing. Not on Facebook.
Do you play Legion, or do you win games with Crix?
I play Legion. I played Legion last night.
Cool. Sure.
I won games with both.
Nice.
Is that true? Yeah, it's true.
Compton.
Next.
I am Richard, and I play hockey. It's pretty great.
All right, moving on. Jeremy, what's your name?
It's Jeremy.
All right, moving on.
This is Seabass, and I play Kador and Trolls.
So we've got a few topics today. There was some stuff that happened in the previous, week or so. There's been a decent amount of things to talk about over the last week. What do we want to start on? Does anybody have any preferences? Basically, I was going to recap vaguely what happened at WTC. I think we should talk about the Theme Force document that dropped today. I think we should talk about the analytics of what happened at the WTC. And the game moving forward, maybe.
Let's do your quick takes on the WTC, then we talk about the analytics, and move on to themes.
Okay. I was on WTC Team Red. Not super happy with how team selection went. I don't know if I'd covered that previously on a podcast or not, but basically we were all together in a group, and the 10 of us that were not on the ATC team that won were basically all on a Skype call. And we voted for team captains. And as soon as we voted for the two team captains, the first team captain decided who his team of 5 was and left the other 5 out. So Mike Perrier basically just chose the 5 people in Texas, which I understand from his point of view is good because you get to practice with the people on your team. The downside is it left the other 5 people, which were people on my team. We had only 2 people in the same time zone. We also, all 5 were Kador players. So it left us with a very odd team dynamic. So we had Brandon Andrews, Ryan McDermott, Trent Bates, Alex Cosma, and myself. Brandon Andrews had been playing Crix recently, so he kept with Crix. Trent switched over to Circle, and Ryan McDermott, Alex Cosma, and myself all played Kador. I deferred to my 2 teammates as to what casters they wanted to play. So Ryan chose Iris 2 and Karchev, and Alex chose Sorsha 1 and Butcher 3, and I went through this nice little wandering phase of what am I going to play at the WTC. I settled on Vlad 1 and Strakov 2, which I see in hindsight after going was a mistake. I should not have taken Strakov 2, and it's not because the Strakov 2 list isn't good. It does what I want it to do. I was just overly concerned with certain matchups that I shouldn't have been. I should have played Sorsha 2. Which was what I had been practicing before Strakov 2. Round 1, we played against Team Sweden. I can't remember which of the Swedens. I think they're Sweden-Finland. I can't remember what their secondary name was. Anyway, it was the good Swedish team that we didn't want to play against. We didn't not want to play against them because who they were. I had met most of the Swedish people. I drank with them at Adepticon.
Yeah, they're at Adepticon.
They were pretty cool. But we had just finished our matchup document, and there were 5 teams that we showed on paper that we had bad matchups into. Sweden, Team Drop Air from Australia, one of the German teams, I think, and then one of the Polish teams and one other team we were so-so into or bad. And everyone else we thought we had a strong game into. And so we played Team Sweden round 1, and I was like, okay, well, this is going to be a hard day. We ended up drafting that out. I don't think it went as well as it could have for us, but Ryan played into Mercs, so we had Kador into Mercs, Kador into Rhett, Crix into Crix, my Kador into Crix, and Circle into Signar. Upon finishing my game of Lich 1 Ghost Fleet into Vlad 1 Jaws, I finally pull out my game, and I looked at Alex, he's like, we got 0-4. I'm like, God damn it. I was so hoping that we would have won that, because I was the bad matchup of the round. It was the only one that didn't have a coin flip matchup.
Yeah, Jaws into Ghost Fleet's not good for Jaws.
It's really bad. Yeah, I played it. It's bad. We basically had 3 coin flips So we had like 4 coin flips, and then my game was a bad game. I won my bad game. Trent got diced. He had Loki walk into melee with a Curse of Shadowed Siege and didn't kill him. Ryan wasn't very well practiced into how to stop bulldozing and couldn't manage to hold on to a scenario that was very central. I think it was the pit 2. So he just couldn't keep from losing on scenario against Ostrom's bulldozing. Brandon clocked himself in the mirror. He was ahead on attrition, but ended up clocking. And Alex could not keep Butcher 3 alive against Ron.
That sounds like a challenge.
Yeah, it's hard. He probably had the worst game of everyone other than me. So we lost first round. The Swedes were great. We took some pictures with them, and we took a bunch of shots and everything after the first round.
Nice.
Yeah, they gave him some Aquavive.
Aquavive.
This one was brown. So I was like, that's not Aquavive. And he's like, no, trust me, it's Aquavive. I was like, okay.
Aquavite.
Aquavite.
It's a T.
Oh, okay.
not a V.
Aquavite.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. I think it was better than the stuff we had at Adepticon.
That stuff was actually pretty good.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It's like gin mixed with vodka. I don't know how else to describe it.
It's
like gin with a bite. Yeah.
It's got like a lot of fennel in it, so like licorice taste. That's good. I like it.
Then second round, we played against Team Greece. We were in the losers bracket, obviously. I think we went 4-1 against Greece.
Mm-hmm.
They were some really nice guys. They probably had the biggest language barrier of all the teams we played. I played against Rask. The Rask player was playing a non-standard version of Rask with like Nis Hunters and Rorschenbrine. Rorschenbrine's not crazy unexpected, but it was just different. But he was not very practiced into like a jack spam list. He didn't know how to deal with my threat range because obviously Rask's feat is a lockdown, but he didn't know like I can just walk 9 or trample and threat 12. So like he didn't know how to position in the scenario, and I ended up getting him on scenario because he tried to play super cagey, but I just ran a jack and contested his zone basically, and I scored to 6 on like bottom of 3.
You played Strackoff 2 into Ras.
I did not play Strackoff 2 all weekend in a real game.
Who'd you play Strackoff 2 into?
I played Strackoff 2 into Ryan in a practice game.
Yeah, didn't.
Okay.
I was sick. I was 5-1 with Vlad.
Oh, I didn't realize you played
Yeah,
Vlad on that.
which is what the whole weekend I was like, why did I even bring Strackoff 2? I painted all these fucking models that I bought a week ago.
I mean,
I was so stressed out of getting this done. I should just play.
let's be honest, the paint troll's probably worth it, right?
Yeah, having all those models painted and put away is pretty nice.
No, the troll was worth it.
The paint troll.
Yes.
Is this like you gotta pay the troll toll to get the boys hole?
Yes, but like making your other teammates think about.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
Yes.
trolling Jay was 100% worth it. We'll get to that later.
Okay.
I don't think Jay's going to agree with you there.
I mean,
Agree to disagree.
let's agree to disagree.
All right, so we played Greece. Martin Hornacek's wife was their substitute because they lost one of their players on the way there.
He's not Greek, is he?
No, nor is his wife.
Okay.
They were like, we really need a substitute. He was like, well, my wife's here. Like, she has Kirk's models.
I guess she plays.
Yeah,
That's-
so I don't know if it happened before the event or after. We had played against 2 teams with subs.
Huh.
So, like, we had to redo our document in the middle of games. It was really weird. But they were super cool about it. And I was surprised how laid back just everyone at the event was. It was pretty great.
Yeah.
We won that game. I think it was 4-1. Trent probably got diced again. I think that was our loss. But yeah, it was some cool games. They were nice guys, but it was biggest language barrier we saw, so it's hard to talk with them too much. Then we went to the third game, trying to remember who the third game was.
Spain, I think.
Spain?
I think it
okay,
was.
well, you'd probably know better than me. It was a long.
We have we can do this.
Really?
I
We
have-
have this.
I have
Was
this.
it Spain?
So USA Red was versus
That sounds
Spain
right.
Red.
Nice.
It was the red.
It was the red off. We talked about that when we were there.
And you had more table players, which
Did
by
I play
definition
against
means
Grimkin that round?
Brandon. Yes, you played against
Yeah.
Heretic. Was he one of the bump in the night guys, or was he one of the?
He was heretic with like max infantry, and I was like, I don't want to play against that because he outnumbers me 10-1. 10-1 with a Fury caster is usually not good,
Nope.
especially when he's got the prey fucking Arcana. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I really don't want to mess with that. And they were like, okay, we'll keep you out of that one. So I played that. Thanks, Alex. Hold on, wait. I want to show everybody that's here. You can relay this. This is Alex. This is me inserting him under a bus, which is what he did to me all weekend.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you getting thrown under the bus makes you 5-1, I'm going to throw you under the bus a lot more.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so we did 1 to 5 ratings on all of our matchups. Denny won Ghost Fleet for me was a 1. Lich won every other Ghost Fleet, or not Denny 1 list was a 2 in Crix. That Grimkin list was a 2, and a few other things. Everything else was pretty much a 3+. So I played against a 2, then a 3, then a 2. It was like, great.
No, a 1, right? A 1.
No, because when I played against Grimkin in round 3.
Okay.
You're jumping ahead.
Okay.
You're future sighting.
I guess so.
So I played against the Grimkin player. Alex walked over to my game about 15 minutes in, and I'm like, that's a bad sign. Alex doesn't usually win.
Maybe he's like Tom Guan and just.
Maybe he's like. Maybe Alex
He's
is the
playing
Tom
Sorsha
one.
1.
I know, but he plays like grindy Sorsha 1.
No, that's not.
He plays sniper boat Sorsha 1, but like he doesn't go. I don't know. Anyway, he walked over to my table like, this is bad. He asked me how's this going. He's like, well, he's got like still 45 models with Fury, so it's going great. Thanks, buddy. So he wanders off, and I keep grinding through my game. He has double Murder Crows, double Dreadrots, double Hollowmen. Hollowmen fucking hit hard. Why do they hit so hard? Hollowmen did more damage to my army than anything else.
The internet thinks they're bad trenchers instead of fucking amazing edge reads. I would like to clarify.
So, Vlad was in melee with like 11 Murder Crows.
Yeah.
They killed one of the Forge Shears, left the one controlling Behemoth on 1. Basically. Which really doesn't matter, but it was funny.
Yeah.
I eventually just start grinding through his army. I combo smite his Skin and Bones out of a zone and also out of control, which he didn't realize at the time. So he goes to shake knockdown, and I ask him to check control, and it ended up being out, which is actually pretty big, because that Skin and Bones would have finished off 2 heavies, and it didn't get to.
Mm-hmm.
He was up on me 5-1 on control points at the end of his 4th turn, which like had me a little nervous. I thought I was gonna swing it back, but like being down that much in scenario is pretty hard.
Right.
I did end up swinging it back. Vlad started killing a lot of Murder Crows. The Jacks kept killing a lot of Dreadrots. The Hollowmen stuck around forever. Getting to Apparition out of melee, get the Fury bonus, and then come back in at like POW 15 was just doing constant damage.
Yeah. And
Jacks were losing systems. My mechanics were long dead. But yeah, I ended up swinging it back. I think I won like 7-5 on scenario at the end of it. But it was a really good game.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up getting like 130 army points out of him because the only thing he had left was like 2 Cask Imps and Heretic. Man, it was a close.
How low were both of your clocks at the end of that game?
We were both under 7 minutes, but you know we had enough time to finish the game.
Okay.
How did it end? Assassination?
Scenario. Turn 7 victory on scenario.
Oh, turn 7. Oh, okay.
Yeah. He was a pretty cool guy. He was the second biggest language barrier we had, but he still spoke decent English.
Okay.
But yeah, they were pretty cool. At the end of the game against Grimkin, Alex walks over, just puts a beer down. I was like, "You've earned this." It's like, "Thanks. How'd your game go?" I was like, "Oh, I died." Like, "Thanks, Alex. You fuck."
So you guys lost that round, right?
No, we won that round.
Oh, you won that round?
We were 2-1 going into day 2.
They won 4-1. Alex lost against LeConte.
Yeah. So next day, we found out we were playing Team Drop Bear. I switched jerseys with Chris Davies right before the match started. We probably did our worst of match selection that round, and this is where I'm going to insert Alex directly under the bus because it's 100% his fault.
This is pretty fucking terrible.
Yeah, this is really bad. I was like, all right, guys, what am I playing against? He's like, oh, you got Dennywood Ghostly played by Aaron Whale. I was like, oh, fuck
That's
this.
Aaron,
I was like, really?
It's a good thing that Aaron Whale guy is like really good at the game, right?
Yeah, that guy is like not good. Oh,
yeah, it's a good thing that Aaron Whaley
can't play Denny.
Yeah, he can't play Denny 1,
No,
probably.
he hasn't played her for like 6 years at this point, like exclusively.
No, not Whaley. Surely not Whaley.
Whaley,
How did that happen?
I asked him why he wasn't dropping me.
That's even a usable consideration. Like I
don't either.
I'm not trying to be an asshole about this. Like I'm really not.
No, yeah, Alex is
but
shitty. We got it.
I don't understand.
Yeah,
what
sure.
train of thought can bring you to the conclusion that's okay.
Our matchup
Unless
process.
you're just supposed to be the one who loses, and you can position everybody else in positive or favorable games.
That's what's supposed to have happened.
But it was,
Again, for the second time, that's supposed to be what happened.
No,
All right, guys, let me give it some context, everybody. We lost matchups, from what I remember. Yeah, we lost matchups. So Alex had a brain fart on how the matchup process worked, and he thought that by dropping me, they would be able to lock in me against Ghost Fleet. And his goal was to save me until their Ghost Fleet was gone. And because it was early in the morning, we were mostly hungover. And he was just like, oh yeah, they just saved their Ghost Fleet and they get to pick the matchup. And I'm like, yes, that's why I told you to put me down when there was 2 not Ghost Fleets down. And he's like, oh yeah. Whoops.
For those people unaware, Drop Bear was double Kador, double Signar, single Crix.
Yeah.
It's a strong team.
It is a strong
And they're
team.
just very
Good
good players.
players as
Very,
well,
very
yeah.
good players.
I explained to him afterwards that it was completely his fault and he made a mistake. And he agreed with me.
Well, so, yeah, it sounds like he made mistakes, but this probably goes back to everyone on your team being a first-time WTC player and no one really being that experienced in the matchup process.
Well, as soon as it was like too late, I pointed it out to him as to what was about to happen. He was like, "Oh, whoops!" But yeah, it was because we. I mean, it's not the only reason. Like, we could have done better at preparation. I felt like we were very underprepared, but
Yeah.
we lost a week of preparation on practicing list pairs. We had never had anyone do the matchup process before, other than our dry runs.
Mm-hmm.
And we played against.
Oh, that's what I
again,
mean.
this was one of the 5 teams we thought we had bad matchups into anyway.
Yeah, you hit 2 out
Yeah.
of 5 teams.
We had 3 people on our team that were supposed to cover Signar and Crix against a double Signar, double Crix team. Like
So-
that, you just can't do that. You're going to lose at least one of those games, even if you get to pick matchups and you pick well.
That's why the practice weekend is important, because you need.
I think the practice weekend is important because, especially, it would have been really important for your team because you get to expose yourselves to the experienced WTC players, and they get to look at what you're doing and give you feedback on it.
And you get to go through the matchup process, like,
You get
first
to do it.
so it's
You get
not...
to do it live, which is a little different, I guess. But I think it's more of the cross pollination between the 3 teams.
That is true.
Yeah. In the future, I would really like it to be more of a free-flowing thing. Like, once we have our 15 people for the WTC, have them not be locked into which team they're on for about a month while they explore the meta and see what we think the best 3 5-man teams would be, instead of just going, let's do a popularity contest of who's going to be on what team. I would really like to see that in the future. I don't know that it will, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So anyway, we played against Team Drakbear. We lost. I believe it was 4-1. Ryan beat the Signar player.
They were one of the best. They were probably one of the best teams at the competition.
I think they were one of the best teams. I think they were one of the favorites.
Haley 2 lost, which is always a good moment for
Yeah,
Warmachine.
Ryan beat Haley 2, which is the one matchup he said he would win. So good job, Ryan.
Karchev?
Yes.
Yes, Karchev and Haley 2.
Yeah, it's just
Trent lost to one of their Kador players.
Yeah.
He snake eyes a Curse of Shadows on a Colossal. Decided to cast Curse of Shadows again instead of porting his caster, which left Loki out of control and noticeably impacted where his feet was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it probably would have been worth it to not Curse of Shadows it and have the extra damage because he left out like 20. I think with buys, Loki probably does more damage than both of them. Makes up the damage for both without Curse of Shadows.
Sure.
So he might have made the wrong decision, but as soon as he rolled the Snake Ice, he had gotten his own head. And I think
that's hard. I've seen that happen to several Wormwood players.
Yeah.
Is that Wormwood's amazing if all of his dice are average, but the second he snakes a curse or
one of
snakes
the
a
4 spells he
stranglehold,
casts a turn doesn't roll well, and he's like, oh shit.
yeah, he's like, oh, my plan's dead.
Yeah. It's Razor's Edge for sure. Because if anything doesn't go your way, it falls apart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's very high rolly.
Yeah, it's like a
If
building
everything
made of
goes,
glass.
if everything goes his way, he can't lose.
Yeah,
But as soon as something doesn't go, it starts to fall apart
It
pretty
seems
quickly.
very similar to some of the games I've played where 72, where the first thing you do is rebuke for your cheap spell off Harmonious, and then you roll snakes, and it's like, oh, this turn's going to go way different than I thought it was.
Mhm.
Because I've had that happen to me before, and then I get in my own head. I think it was a couple games against you, actually.
probably.
Didn't rebuke the swordsman, had to cast rebuke a couple more times. Didn't end well.
So we lost that round. Alex lost the mirror. He admitted he probably dropped the wrong list. He played Butcher 3 into Sorcerer 1, but he was playing Butcher 3 Winter Guard Command. So most of his Winter Guard got to do nothing for the whole game, while the other Winter Guard killed them.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was basically Sorcerer 1 Conquest, which is like 3 heavies, and it was just didn't work out for him.
Right.
What was Alex's other list?
Sorcerer 1.
Butcher 3.
Out of theme. Butcher 3 Winter Guard Command, and then his other list was Sorcerer 1 out of theme.
I see.
So Ryan won. Brandon had the biggest brain fart I've ever seen a good player have. And instead of putting his caster behind a building, he cornered the building versus Haley 3, died to a single Force Hammer. It was the only attack he had on him, to my knowledge. I might be wrong, but from what I talked to him after, he's like, the only attack he had on me was a Force Hammer. Baby Haley cast Force Hammer, rolled like the 13 to hit, and rolled 6, 5, 5, 5, 4 on damage and killed him by 2.
Wow.
Yeah, Oscar on a camp and just one-shot her.
Can't do
and he's
that.
like, great. And he's like that was one of his favorable matchups, but instead of just moving an inch to the left and not being in line of sight, he just died. So that could have gone our way, and Trent could have pulled out his game, and it could have won, but it certainly did not. Nothing fell our way all weekend.
Right.
That was probably the second round that we just did not have close games go our way.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next round, I want to say we played against Team Norway, but it's been like almost a week at this point.
Well, I think there you
Silence
are.
is really good.
So
radio.
you lost 3-2 to Finland Mannerheim?
Yeah, that was right, Finland. This is another round. I felt I got put into a close game that I could have won, but it was not the matchup I wanted, because we won matchups most of the weekend except for against Drop Bear. I think was like one of the few we didn't win the matchup process versus.
Mm-hmm.
And I deferred to what my partner wanted, which was Brandon. He played against, I want to say, Protectorate.
He played against Testament.
Yeah, he played against Protectorate, and he gave me the Convergence matchup because he said Convergence was harder for him than it was Protectorate. So I took the bad matchup, hoping that would give Brandon a better chance. Had a really good game versus the guy I played. He was really good with Axis. He's basically playing my Axis list, though.
Uh-huh.
So I have a lot of experience
Can
versus
you
it.
remind me what your Axis list is? It's at least 4
Triple
inverters.
inverter, double TEP, and then like servitors, 2 diffusers.
What was the Testament list that Brandon played against?
Pretty standard for what we've been playing. So it's like lots of knights, some errants probably, and then solos.
What do you drop? I actually think that's a bad matchup.
Scar into Testament seems
Scar, he's
really
playing
bad
Scar.
for Scar.
And again, he didn't respect the Testament matchup, and he had the game won and missed a Dark Guidance Machine Wraith hit on a Revenger to walk it out of run and arc range of Scar. And if he didn't miss the 6, he had no way to attack Scar, and he had like 10 models left. Like,
Yeah, he had 10 models left. But
Testament had 10 models.
Was he playing double errands?
yeah, but then
So
Testament
it brings back all the
goes-
guys that can't attack, and then you just go again. Like once you killed that many guys, it doesn't matter because they'll never get to attack again. You just keep killing them.
maybe.
have to look at this Testament list. I feel like double.
So anyway, I'm playing against the Axis player. I get I go bottom of 2. I go second. He runs. I run. We both. Then he postures. I send in most of my army. I run 1 Marauder in to engage an inverter and some other things.
We don't have to go through like the
Sure, no,
nitty-gritty
but
of each
the
game.
other Marauder ends up alphing off one of his TEPs, which is pretty relevant to the game. I got him before he could stop me. Other side of the table, TEPs damaging some jacks. Anyway, it ends up being a close scenario game where I'm up like 4 points. I swing to the right really hard. He's not ready for it, and I get up on scenario, but he does a good job of contesting with important models, but because he has to use Axis to start doing attrition work, I end up getting a Juggernaut on Axis and roll really well and kill him. I was actually going for a scenario play. I just happened to kill Axis instead because I rolled really well.
That doesn't seem like a bad place to be.
So I won that game. We ended up losing on a couple close games. And then the last round we played against, was it Norway that time? Finland. I know we played against Finland. I can't remember the last team we played. Anyway, he'll look it up. I played against a nice guy that was playing Protectorate. He played Vindictus with double Vengers, double Knights. Was not supposed to be playing into Vlad 1 Jaws, but he got put into Jaws to help the team do well, and it did not work out.
Yeah. So that's the weekend.
Yep, that was the
Played
weekend.
against Netherlands Death Claw.
Netherlands.
So
They were the other team with a replacement, and that one of their guys had to leave to catch a flight because the tournament ran like 30 minutes late,
yeah.
and so they forfeited one of their games.
Oh,
I think we ended up winning the game anyway. It was close, but I think we ended up winning it.
Wormwood beat Kalissa.
Yeah. It was supposed to be like a Wormwood counter, but it ended up being a lot worse for them than I think they were.
that's not a
expecting.
great matchup for Wormwood, but
Yeah. Trent played it pretty well, but his dice didn't fail him this time.
that's good.
Yeah. But again, everyone we played was great. Everyone was super gracious. Everyone was like, I don't know, the pinnacle of what you would expect good players to be.
Sure.
One more statistics raider to throw at you.
Okay.
This is a stat that I think a lot of people haven't looked at. Of the 6-0 players at the WTC, how many of them do you think play Crix?
That's all of them.
Not all of them.
One of them was Scorn, but
Not all of them.
I mean, obviously not all
So
of
clearly
them, but
Scorn
the
needs to be
answer is
nerfed
going to
and
be an
ground again.
overwhelming majority.
46% of the 6-0 players play Crix.
how many
So what are
6-0
we
players
learning
were
from
there?
that?
6 out of 13.
Sure. So it's Crix is good. Which I mean,
I just say that's my last statistic I have. And I have this drawing of Alex going under a bus.
that's what we need to focus on. Is Alex needs to go under more.
Alex, what the fuck?
All I've learned from this is Alex Cosmo's apparently terrible at Warmachine in matchups. That's all I know.
He's terrible at Warmachine matchups, planning, and being a human. Those things
He
specifically.
is from California.
He
is from
does
California.
hang around with Brandon, so I just assumed he was the
To be
terrible human.
completely fair, Alex Cosma is an exceptional player and an extremely good. He's extremely good at the game. So it's hard for me to get too upset knowing that he
Scott,
kind of walked in.
Are you trying to get on Dominate for 2?
Yeah, he's trying to be a triathlon here.
No,
Guys, we're going to veto Scott's last statement on a vote of 4. 1, 2, that's 4. All right. Scott, you're no longer to mention that previous topic ever again.
anytime we start throwing someone under the bus, and I know you have a very good, solid friendship with him, Brandon, but I don't. So whenever we talk about that, because I did kind of rail on the matchup process earlier, and whenever I talk about that, I want to make sure that it's known that I have a lot of respect for what he brings to the game and what he brings to the community, right? So it's important to make that known, right?
Well, it's also a completely different format of tournament.
Yeah, I
than
think
probably
I
what
think
he's
the
used to.
inexperience of your team showed greatly in your matchup pairs.
I agree with that.
Which you you can't help.
No, you can't help. You got fucked.
The only way to fix that is to go back next year. That's the only way that
Well,
gets fixed.
it's to go back next year, but it's also to make sure the team selection is maybe a little more
So
balanced.
I just want to show the conclusions I've drawn from WTC, which is that they won 3 rounds and they had 3 Kador players, which means you need 5 Kador players to win 5 rounds. That's
I agree
all I know.
with
Should have got all 5 Kador players, man.
You
What
would
the
have gone
fuck?
5 and 1.
What are you gonna do?
Fucking
Drop
morons.
Crix into a caterer? Come at us, bitch!
I mean,
I'm gonna
Kador,
point out that no team had 3 Crix players because we were the only triple faction. That's 3 wins.
The worst you would have gone is 2 and 3.
I know.
3 and 2. Sorry.
yeah, seriously.
So the one statistic I do want to touch on, though, that I think is very telling, or I don't think it's necessarily very telling because I think there's a lot of gray area, but something that concerns me a little bit is that when we look at troll performance at the WTC,
Oh, gotta
not
go
this
back
again.
to trolls.
Creel Warriors are bad.
so
Okay.
no, like
I'm just kidding. Go.
before you start railing me, just hear me out.
No, definitely
Nope,
not.
you start railing.
It's definitely happening right now.
All right. So Troll Bloods performed with a 31% win rate.
Nice.
All right. After you factor out mirrors,
Well, I
They
mean, that's
performed at a
above
31%
average for how much of the percentage Crix took.
How many?
Um,
weren't there only like 6 Trollblood players though?
there were 8 Troll Blood players.
You can't learn anything from that. I don't think.
I mean, I would agree that you can't learn anything from Trollbow players.
God damn.
That's that. All right, go ahead, Scott.
I think you're looking at 40 games played.
Okay.
And I think that is still more game specific with trolls than you will find in any other event in the United States, or for that matter, the world,
Well, yeah,
in a singular sitting.
Yeah, but
That's 40 games specifically with trolls. And I think there is information there worth mining. Now,
Yes.
I don't necessarily think that it is the end-all, be-all, tell-all story of trolls. I don't. I'm not on board with that. I'm not on board with that mentality. But I do think it does at some level, and that level can be determined by you and not by me, obviously. But I do think it does state at some level to the position of trolls in the game when you look at them pre-Northkin. And what I think is really interesting, and the thing that I'm actually excited about with this, is that next year we're going to see Northkin as being a viable option in trolls. And so what I'm really curious to see is what happens to trolls' percentages whenever that happens. That's the only part of that statistic that I'm truly interested in.
Yeah. So,
did you pull up the trolls win percentage versus certain factions?
I have it up right now.
but again, it's such a small, and because it's so we touched on this a little bit earlier. I think trolls is suffering from a perception problem
Like,
more than a power level
the
problem,
trolls
and I
are-
think you'd probably agree with me, Scott, right?
from a Facebook.
I think trolls are perceived as bad, so nobody plays them. So they do poorly at tournaments, so they're perceived as bad, so nobody plays them.
I agree with that.
I think that is a large part of it. It is probably the largest part of it. If I told you, or if I tried to tell you that I feel like trolls is completely on par with every other option in any other faction, given points value and rough equivalency, I would not tell you that's the case. I feel like trolls is potentially a little bit more limited into the options that work well than other factions are. I don't think we have a huge stable. We just don't.
I
Okay,
think you're probably on
so-
par with Circle,
So average,
which isn't a great spot in the meta, but people play Circle because of a Mark II perception, so they still get wins. Yeah, I would put trolls in Circle pretty close to where they in power level, which is, I think, low. I mean, that's behind Legion, Minions, probably scoring at this point, and then obviously
I think
behind all the
trolls
Warmachine
are ahead of
factions.
Minions.
What's that?
I think trolls are ahead of minions.
I don't.
I think minions are further back than a lot of people do.
Looking from the outside in on trolls, and most of my experience watching trolls being watching Scott player playing against Scott, just because of how the local meta breaks down, or our local Alex. I think that a lot of the troll's strength is Doomshaper 3. And the problem with the WTC data is you only played a decent amount of games against two factions. You got housed by Crix at 1-7, and you were 5-6 against Signar. Obviously, a lot of the WTC talk is pinning. I've been really busy lately, and I'm just gonna have to find time to look through all of the 960 games that were played and just figure out what matchup was played against once. Who got run under the bus. But like trolls, like S tier caster is Doomshaper 3, and don't get me wrong, Doomshaper 3 is really good. But
I
like,
still hold the opinion he's the best caster in Hordes.
I don't disagree.
I disagree.
Maybe Grimkin, but I haven't looked at Grimkin.
I think there are several Grimkin casters that are better. I think Wormwood's better. I think Fiana's better. Callus is better. Abbey 2 is probably better. Abbey 2 might be on par.
I think he is definitely the strongest warlock in trolls. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
No, there's
the
no
strongest
doubt about
warlock in hordes? No, not by a long shot. I'm sorry. I'd love to say that because I love me some Shaper 3, but I cannot say that.
Yeah.
Should definitely stop playing Doomshaper 3. I'll be really happy.
So there was 8 troll players. If there's an even spread of all of the 13 factions, there should be 24 players in each faction, which obviously is not going to be the case. But trolls were roughly a third, slightly less than a third of what they should have been.
I do think trolls have a power level problem. I think they have a bigger perception problem.
I agree. The problem I have with trolls is my personal play style does not fit with multiple casters in the faction. Doomy 3 is like exactly what I want to play, and all of the other beast casters appeal to me, but I don't feel comfortable pairing them together.
I have a lot of infantry casters. They have a lot of gunline casters.
But I don't want to play troll infantry. I want to play troll beast, which is why I got into trolls in the first place, which is why I own more dollars in beast than infantry, even though Meat Mountain was their good list. Yeah, I want to eat people alive with trolls, so it's just personal opinion thing. But I don't think most of their units are probably not good. But most units in Khador are not good, so that's not a big deal.
Most units in Legion are bad.
Yeah. There are probably 3 playable units in Khador, which is not...
I thought you were going to say the game.
No.
You're not far
There's
from
3 playable units in Crix. probably 5.
Like, are we counting
I'm
Revenant?
thinking
Crew,
3.
Revenant, Ghost Raiders, Banes,
Ghost
Riders.
Raiders, yeah, kind of.
You were playing Knights yesterday,
And a bad list.
and I think those are the worst unit that might be playable, but they're not good.
No, Knights are not good.
And so, even though we love trolling the hell out of Scott, we do a pretty good job of like trying to drive the Troll Blood community in a positive direction, which is like notoriously one of the worst communities. But like that is a problem. It's like you're one of the few positive driving forces they have, and everybody else is like, this is a dumpster fire. Let's bail.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think trolls have a perception problem.
Now let's talk about how the game is ruined forever.
All right,
What?
the theme forces, Themocalypse.
No. I thought that was
What
gonna
I've heard
fix the
from the
game.
internet. I've heard from
Oh
the
yeah,
internet.
that's gonna fix the game. You think that?
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I haven't seen any theme. I haven't seen any of these themes on the table
Alright,
yet. So,
so-
how could I possibly know?
Carl, I don't think they listen to us for our expertise. I think they listen to us for hot takes.
Hot takes, go.
I think listen to us for expertise.
Unfortunately,
That's the
I think
first
he's
half-
actually right.
Yeah, the first half hour of the podcast is expertise that goes to a shit show from there. So I have the themes on my phone if you'd
All
like
right,
me to read
let's
them.
go to the first theme force.
Grave
Vaguely
Diggers,
summarized.
not the bad Haley theme force from Mark II. So you can play all the casters.
We don't
not-
have to go over the ones we know about.
Do we
We
know
talked about Grave
Gravediggers?
Diggers, right? Grave Diggers has been in CID.
But he's been in CID. I mean, it might have changed.
Those are
I think everybody at
hashtag
this point
alternative
knows.
rules.
All right, hold on. Just
I
do
think-
very quick, precise. These are the 4 benefits in vague summaries. And
Okay,
we'll
so
move on.
Gravediggers, so all the theme forces have you can include Merc and Minion. So
they
it doesn't
did the
fucking matter.
sweeping thing that we didn't want them to do, which was unit and minion solo in every theme force.
Yeah.
So for every
Yeah.
20 points of Rangers and Trenchers,
No. Summarize. 20 points of units.
20
you
points
get.
of units, you get Trencher Command Attachment, Trencher Weapon Crew, or Signar Solo. You get Trenchers have Rise, and you get +1 to go first. Because we know what Haley 2 needed? Fucking +2 to go first.
And Anastasia to Bray.
Yeah, I am worried about that specific interaction as +1 to go first teams with Stacy.
Pretty much.
+2 to go first seems real good.
You're playing Crix though right now, so I don't think you have to worry about that at all.
I mean, let's just summarize real quick.
Well, yeah, because I'm playing. I'm playing.
Carl is playing Crix because he's tired of Legion not winning games.
Yeah.
Sure, I'm
pretty sure
not
recruits
faulting-
changed Carl's opinion, though, because I just saw him playing against Brad, and it was like, Carl's playing Legion next week.
Next week.
I did play Legion next week.
You
and
did.
then you went
you-
back to Crix.
No, I didn't.
Oh, yeah? I saw you play a game with Crix yesterday.
Because I didn't want to play the double throw and mirror match.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What?
On we go. All
so,
right.
Heavy Metal
Onwards and upwards.
got technically nerfed, so
It did get nerfed. It's not technical at all.
you get to add mercs. That happened. So it went from 25 to 30 points of Warjacks and Battle Engines.
Big
And
deal
then-
that this means is that you only get 3 free solos.
Exactly.
And then the other 2 benefits are the same, which are solos and mechanics get Repo 3 and +2 deployment.
So, do we think the lists are going to change? I mean,
The list might get better. I think Haley 2 should have been including a unit of mechanics to score circle zones without Haley 2.
I think what's really interesting about the changes to Sigma themes, specifically heavy metal, is that now they actually have to make a choice. Like now you have to decide what 3 solos are really important to you and which is the 4th one you can drop.
I mean, how is it not just Junior Squire Harlan? Is that not the obvious?
Because
because Jake's
Because a lot
actually is
of-
really good.
Jake's is
I was going to say, because a lot of lists run Jake's.
'Cause-
Because in order for Haley 2 to do everything that Haley 2 needs to do, she has to have some kind of alternate focus battery that can power a Stormclad and something else.
That's how
she
Brent's
can't
list
afford
works.
to do it all
I don't
on
think
her
that list
own.
works without Jake's.
No, I think the +2.
But no, but they already dropped that extra heavy for Stormstrider. That was his list before the Stormstrider got in it.
No, he still has Jake's.
No, I know he still has Jake's, but like his list used to have another heavy in addition to that was on Haley instead of Stormstrider. When they changed her feat, he dropped one of her heavies for a Stormstrider.
the plus-
You just moved Jake's heavy over to Haley.
And my point is that instead of choosing which 4 he gets, he has to choose 3 if he doesn't take the Strider. If he takes the Strider, he's down to making a decision of how many free solos do I get? Which of the 3, because I can only get 2 at this point, which of the 3 do I take? The point is, I think it's a decision that has to be made. I think it's good.
You can also take the new Trencher guy.
I mean, it's clearly worse than before.
In heavy
I'm
metal?
not saying it's not. I don't
In
think
heavy
it's
metal.
It's Journeyman Warcasters, I'm assuming.
It's battle group controller special rule.
I don't think you will, but you could.
I think the choice is probably
It would be
Jake's
better
or,
than
or not Runewood,
Journeyman,
Jake's
think.
or
No.
Arlen.
Arcade Shield's really important.
Yeah,
I think the choice is Jake's or Arlen, depending on what your list needs.
You
And I'll be
definitely drop Jake's before Arlen.
I think so too.
I think
That's what I'm saying. It's not a choice. Like, you miss Jake's, but it's not a choice. Every list is going to have Arlen Squire Jr.
I gave up my Wicked Haley 2 ways in Mark 3, so...
Probably.
The most important thing is that currently they're not going to have the second Junior to run a second Firefly. So Junior might end up running 2 Fireflies. That might be the big deal.
Yeah, that's...
Or you drop one of those Fireflies so you can get...
Or just fucking
Stacy
run
and
double
Ion
Strider.
Holt.
Who cares?
The next theme force is Gunmage theme force, Sons of the Tempest. The benefits are for every 15 points of Arcane Tempest, you get Arcane Tempest command attachment or small base Signar solo. Fun mages and Black 13th get Pistolier, which is boosted gunfighter damage.
So you can
and-
charge and get boosted gunfighter damage.
Yeah, you can charge and get boosted gunfighter damage. And then free upkeep turn 1. Oh, no, sorry, it's not free upkeep turn 1. It's you can upkeep spells and Arcane Tempest models without spending focus. I believe that
I
is a
noticed they
change.
started adding that because the Northkin theme lets you upkeep spells on Northkin models for free. Which is pretty cool.
That's cool.
The next theme force is Storm Division.
Do we think that's going to be a relevant theme force at all?
No.
What's
Uh,
the previous one? What was it? Storm Division?
Tempest, no.
Oh, Sons of the Tempest? Probably
Yeah.
not.
do
I
you
don't think so.
really want GMCAs with somebody, basically?
I don't think it's going to be relevant.
But that's the only
Even
reason.
with the change, even with the rework, I don't think it's relevant.
But I think the reason you play it is GMCAs, right? Like, it's literally I need GMCAs.
I think you play Sloan out of theme before you play that team force.
I mean, I would agree with you.
I mean, that's currently what what's his face is doing, right?
I don't think
Agree.
you play Sloan out of the team now that you can take Reinhold.
That's fair.
The
It bothers me so much that they're like,
I don't
I
think-
really need a
I don't-
GMCA.
There will not be another competitive list out of theme in Mark III unless they drastically rework the teams.
Probably not.
I don't think it's probably about it. That's just the reality we live in.
And I could still see like a Sorsha one out of theme. It's a lot less likely, but seeing like Sorsha one with the sniper package with Eris and Reinhold and everything too.
You
Like-
have to need a lot of themes. Like, you're
Well,
hardcore
it's
tech-
Kel, Eris, Alton Ashley, and Ion and Holt, and Reinhold. Like, that's a lot of things that doesn't fit in theme. Like, there is still a list that is good, because realistically, what theme are you going to play her in that you're going to get major bonuses? All of her shit's in solos. You don't get any theme bonuses anyway. Like, you put her in Winter Guard Command and you take, like, 2 free random fucking solos. Like,
I think you put her in Regard Command.
sure, but I'm just saying the bonuses you get are not that big in Winter Guard Command. Other than Sackpawn and Sorsha, which in a lot of games doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
The Protectorate has 2 theme force changes. The first is Guardians of the Temple has gone from Warjack's gain girded to Temple Flame Guard models gain tough when base to base with a model in their unit, which is a nice
And no
change.
knockdown.
Oh, and no knockdown. I did not know that.
Huh.
That's good. That's good.
Pretty good bonus. I like it. I'm just not a super big fan of all Flame Guard all the time, so but that's personal bias. I think that theme force is definitely good, mainly because it's Protectorate. You play what you need to beat. It doesn't matter other than that.
I think it's worth playing around with. Top no knockdown models are good. It's funny though that like we nerf tough so that you don't get your knockdown, and like every tough model that sees play is tough no knockdown. A lot of them,
Or Rise.
or just played because not because they're tough, but because they're Banes in the Bane theme force.
Faithful Mass is a new theme force. I'm hoping most of our listeners don't follow CID. But it's the models that aren't in the other 3 themes theme force, so it's Idrians, Paladins, Zealots, Deliverers, and Allegiance. For every 20 points of Paladin solos and Protectorate units, you get a free Weapon Crew Command Attachment or smaller medium base solo. Heavy Warjacks and Colossals gain Hand of Vengeance, and you get a wall of 20 up from your deployment. So it's pretty good theme force. It'll probably see a lot of play. I haven't started dojoing yet.
That seems good.
The next Khador theme force is Armored Core, which is the Man of War theme force. So you get Khador casters, non-character jacks, Man of War models units, battle mechanic units, and war dogs. you get, for every 20 points of Man of Wars, you get a free command attachment, Tanker Solo or Man of War Covenant Solo free. You get +1 to repair rolls, and Man of War Battle Engines and Tanker Solos gain advanced move. So those don't exist yet, so whatever.
That's the main problem with this one. But looking at this theme force, I don't know how it's good unless the Tanker Solos and the Battle Engine are just fucking nuts. Like how does an army of Speed 4 work?
If it was Man of War gain advanced move, I think we'd be talking.
I don't think it would be. Have you played 2017? Like, how does the Speed 4 model be competitive with Shield?
I mean, we were talking about how it's utter garbage instead of, like, an absolute pile of shit. Yeah. But we'd be talking.
It's. I don't see how... If you gave them an AD and advanced move, I still don't think it's competitive.
I think it is.
Really? This
AD
list?
and advanced move? Plus 10 movement?
Yeah, I think with AD and advanced
plus 10 movement it makes a lot of things really good. Plus 12 movement.
There's...
You're starting. If you go second, you're starting on the 20-inch line. I mean, so you walk to the halfway part. You're
probably fine. Like, don't get me wrong, Man of Wars are still not great, but starting.
I think Man of Wars are okay. We haven't seen a lot of them played because they're not in the theme force. And the past 6 months has been all themes all the time, so that's just what the game's going to be. Sure. I think the theme is worth playing around with, especially once the Tanker Solos come out.
I struggle with them. I struggled to get them to scenarios like the pit. Like, without them, like, just being completely useless.
I mean, yeah,
we'll see.
Since it's all fake rolls at this point, it doesn't matter.
Right. And again, it matters with the Tanker Solos, and I don't know what they're going to do, but I assume they're going to be gunboats. The Man of War Battle Engine looks like it's going to be really fast, but, I mean, because of the theme force, but the gun that they've, like, basically spoiled on it doesn't look very impressive.
Well, but you could just be taking it so that you don't lose on scenario until your Man of Wars get there, and that could be important.
Paying 16 points for a model that's going to do nothing and die, just so that I don't lose on scenario on turn 3.
Let's be honest, the real list is Old Witch 2, 4 Battle Engines, and a Conquest. Maximum huge base.
Sure.
But other than that, Jaws of the Wolf, the only change is it takes away Ambush instead of Advanced Deploy, so basically no.
I'm actually pretty excited about this. I would much rather take away Ambush than AD.
I am glad they took that out of the theme forces. They recognize that that's just kind of a negative play experience for some armies.
Starting 6 inches back and having to
mostly against, almost exclusively against Circle, but some of their stuff just requires AD.
Sure, but having to pack for an AD unit, having to pack 10 to 20 plus models in your deployment zone is a huge deal. But that's the only change to Jaws of the Wolf. Legion of Steel
Wait, stop. What's the actual next change?
Mercenaries.
Winter Guard Command gains
Hammer
Assault
Strike?
Commandos.
Yeah, Hammer Strike.
Hammer Strike's the next change.
No, Winter Guard Command.
Winter Guard Command, did you gain Assault Commandos? Is that list not accurate?
No, it doesn't include all the changes.
Okay.
They do not count towards 3 points. Continue not playing Assault Commandos.
Wow, wait, hold on. They just stapled Assault Commandos onto the theme and they don't count towards points.
You are correct.
Thanks, by the way, for the literal and pointless thing.
Also, you cannot take Flamethrowers for free. Not that it matters.
The Wolves of Winter theme force is new in Khador.
They completely spoiled it and it didn't change.
Pile of shit. Continue.
Worst theme force in the game.
I agree. So you have Black Industries, which is...
What's the worst theme force in the game again?
Wolves of Winter.
The Doom Reaper.
How is it? You know what? Go on. Just go on.
Yep, I've done this, Scott. You don't want to do it.
What's the good thing about Theme Force?
You get to play not 48 Doom Reapers. It's pretty great. And you get to play them.
You don't need 48 Doom Reapers for the list to be good.
No,
it's just,
I'm aware.
You need models that aren't bad.
That is correct. In the Theme Force, models that are allowed, bad models, and Vlad one.
The problem with Winter's Wind is Doom Reapers are exceptionally overcosted and not good. Giving that just one unit apparition is maybe a way to get a charge out of one unit.
But, Brandon, you can start with your upkeep on your Doom Reapers.
Nice.
Just kidding, you fucking can't.
God.
But, just, basically for anybody that isn't familiar, take a look at Exemplar plus a free command attachment in Doom Reapers. It's not even close.
I mean, Doom Reapers out-threat them, but...
Sure.
That's the only thing they do.
So the new theme, one of the 2 new, or is it 3 new theme forces for Crix? There's 3 new theme forces for Crix?
3 new theme forces for Crix, yeah.
So you have Black Industries, which is non-character Jacks, Death Jack, Malice, Iron Lich models units, which is just Iron Lich Overseers, I want to say.
So far, yeah.
Warwitch models units, Black Ogre and Ironmongers. What are Black Ogre and Ironmongers?
They're going to be a mechanic unit, but we don't know.
Okay, they're
not
not.
yet.
They're fake Warmachine, basically.
Yep.
Cephalix, Machine Race, Necrotex, Scrap Thralls, Soul Trappers, and anything with Battle Group Controller, which as far as I know is Akios and Warcasters.
That's not Jack Marshall, right? It's only juniors.
It's only juniors. But you get Iron Liches.
Which are the only Jack Marshalls and Cricks.
Sure.
You for every 30 points of Jacks, you get a free Jack with point cost 7 or less, which as far as I know is not Shrikes,
Stalkers.
not Stalkers.
Yes.
You get Shrikes.
You get Shrikes.
Shrikes
Is it just
have
not
everything but stalkers.
Pretty much all the lights with all the lights with Stalkers and Defilers.
okay? Defilers are 8 points. Okay. Heavy Jacks gain Carapace. That's +4 arm
It's
against
guns and magic, or just guns?
free strikes.
Guns and free strikes.
Guns and free strikes. I'm excited for this theme for that reason.
And +2 deployment. I think the Internet Salt is definitely overrated.
Yeah, I think
because,
this just means you can play Crixjacks outside of Coven. Because Crixjacks, Arm 17 is so... Arm 17 with 7 boxes in your arm slots is real bad. So
a non-Kane 3 charger blows up one of your systems super easy. It's ridiculous how bad.
I think he comes pretty close to blowing up the Jack.
No, he doesn't.
No, he does. He blows up
They
10
saw
boxes.
5. He doesn't.
He blows up 10 boxes.
10 boxes, that's a third of the
Sure.
Jack.
It's over a third. Of
So
the
3
Jack.
chargers kill a Crix Heavy, sure.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Crix Heavies are good.
But-
I wish they would balance Crix Heavies, not make one theme force they're
But
playable.
Black Industries is the actual Jack theme force and not the de facto Jack theme force because Infernal Machines was kind of what it was.
Is Infernal Machines ever going to get played again?
I wouldn't think so.
So this is
How
just
bad
strictly
it is.
better.
How bad do you need Soul
I
Hunters?
think so. I think Infernal Machines is more there for thralls.
Is the battle engine in
No.
Infernal Machines? Okay.
Oh, in Infernal Machines, yes, it is.
The battle engine is not.
Not in Dark Industries.
Black
the Black
Industries.
So
Industries.
Black
no.
Industries is garbage.
No, I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure Infernal Machines with double Wraith Engine is better than Black Industries with other models.
The important news:
I don't think so.
Dark Host and Ghost Fleet have no change. Continue bending people over Crix players. And then you have Scourge of the Broken Coast, which is the Styxis theme force.
It's
It
pretty
includes Black Ogren and Misery Cage, whatever the hell those are. Doesn't matter.
Crix rack.
It's a rack.
Essentially, it's a rack.
So, for every 20 points of Styxis, you get Styxis
You
command
get free
attachments.
stuff.
You get free
Yeah.
shit. Styxis gained Pathfinder, which is not irrelevant in 2017, depending on whether or not you're
Especially
playing
because it's one of the Raiders' prayers is Pathfinder. So just throw that off the
Is that
start.
Yeah.
relentless though? It's not Pathfinder. It's
Yeah.
relentless.
It's-
So this
sure.
No, it's
so this allows Styxis Raiders to essentially rocket forward with +2 death and with Pathfinder. No, it's very relevant. And then also Styxis Blood Witch, 1 unit of Blood Witches gain ambush. So the ability to ambush entropic force into a position on your opponent's side is really, really
Did the
strong.
Blood Witches lose a speed in Mark 3? Are they speed 7 or 6 instead of
And
7?
speed 6.
Is the Blood Hag still speed 5?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't really care.
Isn't it so nice to say I don't know what the Blood Witch's speed is?
Oh my god.
Isn't it so nice?
I don't care. Literally destroying that model is the entire game. Yeah, I don't miss that.
I think this Team Force is, if you want to play Styxis, it's nice. I don't think the list is there, though.
Yeah,
I think it has potential, but I don't think it's going to be obvious power.
Is it
I
depending
don't think
on
it's gonna be
Scar
great.
3, basically?
No, I just don't
'Cause-
think there's nothing in there your infantry doesn't hit very hard at all. It's all POW 9. So even with Crix buffs, you're starting at just POW 9 non-weapon master. And your jacks don't have any delivery system built in, so they're just going to get pretty easily removed. You don't really have models that can kill anything with armor.
if it was Mark II Styxis, it would worry the hell out of me because you'd basically
Sure,
start
but
at
it's
the edge
not.
of scenario. But it's not. It doesn't matter because they start 6 inches back, they lose 2 inches of speed. It doesn't matter.
I think that's what the list has potential to be as a scenario list, but
It lost 8 inches over Mark II, which is huge.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Well, there's supposed to be extra Styxis units, aren't there?
there's a Black Fleet Styxis unit coming. So this theme is one of the themes that we're just putting them in a theme, but there are future releases coming.
So the last Crix theme is Slaughter Fleet Raiders. You get non-character jacks, Black Ogrins, Blighted Trolls. So that's the Black Ogrin boarding party and
Blood Gorgers.
It's the Blood Gorge.
Blood Gorgers. Shard models / units,
Which there are none right now.
Achios, Crixrax, and Blood Priestesses don't exist. You can take a Merker minion, but if you include the Devil Shadows Mutineers, which I didn't really keep up in the change to Mark 3,
They're basically the same.
they're faction. For every 20 points of Crix units, you get a Crix command attachment or solo for free. Dared Wraith is not allowed. That's important. You can't get free degree. That'd be really sweet. Crix Warjacks gain Gang Fighter, which I'm not super hot on because it's Crix, and if you want to apply all the debuffs, you blow up the world anyways.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't think it's great.
It's really good on Light Swarm. There might be some weird more never shit, but applying gang is super hard because none of these models have reach, right?
Oh, they're all half inch. I think the Blood Gorgers might be 1 inch, but they might be half inch.
The point is you're not running statistics to get gang fighter.
Yeah, no. None of the models have 2 inch.
And you get +2 deployment. So, Ret themes. So, good themes for bad players. Did any of the Ret themes change? I don't play.
Defenders of Ios gain this, essentially.
Yep, Defenders of Ios gain this. Forges of War and Forges of War and their other one, I can't remember the name of it, pretty much stayed the same.
Shadows.
Yeah,
of
Shadows.
Retribution.
Shadows of the Ret.
Yep, and then Legion of Dawn is their new one, I believe.
It's go ahead.
Non-character Jacks, Dawn Guards, Nyar, are those the weird-ass Elves, or what are
Nope,
Nyar?
there's none right now.
Those don't exist, those are #fake Warmachine. And then Arcanist models, Arcanist mechanic solo, so just the good ones. You get free shit for every 20 points of Dawn Guards. You don't get a free Cav solo.
Free Pain Knight would probably not be okay.
Probably, you get flanked Dawn Guard when controlled by a Jack Marshal, and you get +2 deployment, so basically you get Sentinels and...
Jack's controlled by a Jack Marshal gain flank Dawn Guard.
Is there Jack Marshal just the Dawn Guard solo?
The Sayer, who is insane, yes.
What does he do now? He was shit in Mark 2, that's all I know. What does he do now?
The Sayer's drive is Righteous Vengeance.
Seems good.
Is that the 5-inch move?
It is the 5-inch move.
It's 3-inch move.
Or 3, yeah, right, 3-inch
It's no longer a full advantage.
It's just Vengeance now.
It's Vengeance. So that makes a Griffin potentially speed 13 with flank and POW 17. Seems bad.
That has
You also
access
get to
to
take
pass
Sentinels.
on demand.
What's that?
You also get to take Sentinels.
You also get to take Sentinels. Yes.
Yep.
But sure, that's probably bad because the Griffin goes so much further than the Sentinels. He doesn't get flank anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But
but not if they trigger Vengeance on the Sentinels.
That's true,
isn't the
actually.
bigger problem just Virus One exists and does all the things and...
I think the Theme Force seems very strong.
Yeah.
I think the lights can trade way up, or you can just take Hydras. Hydras are amazing Jack Marshall Jacks. And now they gain flank so they can hit like a fucking truck too with Crush. And Lanissa Rissel is... this isn't covered in the theme changes.
She gained Partisan Ret.
So she grants free charges to those Jack Marshall Jacks now, which
That's
is
a
really important for a Jack Marshall Jack.
Do Hydras get focus when hit by any attack or when hit by an enemy attack?
Enemy attack.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
They've always had that, I think.
They have
Just
always had that.
nobody
They
played...
didn't lose focus.
They don't lose focus. They also gain focus when attacked by an enemy.
The problem is the only time anybody cared about that was in a Hydra was in the Mark II Hydra Apocalypse.
It's actually pretty decent in Forges.
No, Hydras are really good, Jack.
Because they gain Shield Guard in Forges.
Yeah. No, that's really good benefit on Hydras, because I want to say they're 14-14 base up to 17... No, they're 12-12 base up to 15-15. I can't remember.
The gun?
What's the gun base? So it gets plus
12-12.
I think it gets to 15-15, so 12-12 base.
No, it's a really good gun. Shadows did not change as far as I'm aware. Did Hammer Strike change? I don't think it did.
Warriors got tough. That's about it.
Instead of anything, or...
That's just added.
So, those...
Yeah, that's the only change to Hammer Strike.
The shield guns, guys. What are they called?
Or Forge Guard?
What's that?
High shield gun.
High shields. The high shields get tough. Are they playable now?
No. So your
Considering
Forge Guard...
every other dwarf model got tough too.
So
not.
your Forge
they
Guard
have tough-
and your Tack are tough.
They have tough
Got
and
it.
CMA now.
I mean, your Caster gets tough. That's not
Unfortunately,
irrelevant.
Still fucking
Yeah.
more expensive than
I
fucking
mean-
hammer dwarves.
Yeah, your Caster gets tough. That's not actually irrelevant.
Yeah.
It
It's
is
not.
actually irrelevant.
Gordon's pretty hard to kill.
No, he's not.
I mean, in this edition. Sure.
The F-13 is pretty low.
So there is a new theme force that was insidered called the Irregulars.
Basically everything.
It's basically everything. All hail your new Magnus 2 Overlords.
I disagree. I think he's still better in Kingmaker.
He is better
That's
in
probably
Kingmakers.
fair. Turns out the ability not to die is real good. The benefits are for every full 25 points of units and jacks, you get free shit. Ace is a friendly faction model. Jack Marshal jacks get flank friendly warrior. And for each unit, one heavy gets advanced move. So there's some pretty solid benefits. It's...
Why did Karl get flank friendly faction model on Jack Marshall Jacks? I don't understand.
because you're already a weapon master against huge bases.
Behemoth with flank blessed and magic seems fine.
Does it?
I mean, it still blows up the world. It doesn't matter. Congrats, you kill a serious Hyperion.
No, I
And-
kill Scar's battle engine. That's actually
What
the
I see
important
this list is, hey, you can have Ace.
Pretty much.
That's pretty much the theme benefits. The theme benefits are that an advanced move, and it allows
thing. It still allows you to play King 3.
it allows
King
all the
3 and
units,
Yeah.
all the non-Rocinante jacks, because he's the only character jack, and you get character solos, which
Gallon.
I mean, this is just basically a buff to Mercs, right? The theme force is 0 restrictions and gives you benefits. It's just a buff to Mercs.
it's pretty much a merc
Yep.
buff.
Is
That's
it
fine.
better than the other Merc themes, though?
I don't think so, but it's just a
No.
buff to untheme Mercs.
Kingmaker is
Sure.
no change, so news at 11. Kingmaker
aren't
real
you
good.
still going to play either Magnus in Kingmakers, Ostrom and Hammerstrike, or Thexus in Operating Theater?
Yes.
Are you going
Probably.
to see anything else?
Were you allowed to take
Now
the...
there's also Italian Charter now. Like, when are you going to fucking play Irregulars?
No one's going to play Italian Charter. Well, I mean...
It
people-
looked really bad, but I'm just saying.
Is Talion Charter just Mark II Kraken?
No, it's just really bad Italian Charter.
So it's really bad in Mark II Kraken. Got it. It's Privateers. Literally the theme is
There's
Privateers.
another one. Look,
Clearly,
who's
I think there are arguments for times where you would want to take irregulars. For example, if you are playing if you're playing a caster on ADR, I think irregulars makes a lot of sense for them. Just because your range of options to choose from after the game begins is very high. I think if you're playing something like Bart Galleon, or not Bart Galleon, but I think if you're playing something like Bart Nomads, the advanced move can be exceptionally strong for Nomads because it it helps fix one of their problems. So I think there are times when there's actually value in taking it, and the fact that it is so open and you do still get like a benefit or two out of it, I think is good. I think there are times when you will play it. We won't see play all the time, but I think there are times where it'll be out there.
Yeah, I don't... But I think people's main problem with it is that it's a quote-unquote theme force that literally allows the entire faction. So it's
Right.
not really a themed army. It's just you're playing Mercs. And it's just weird to think of calling that a theme force. It's like, I'm playing a theme force. I'm playing all Legion models. It's a theme. They're all in Legion.
except the ones that are mercenaries? And
Except the ones that are minions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I can take now because, Scott, you're right. There are some lists that are probably good. I'm not saying this is a bad...
If
There are no good
Irregulars means
lists.
that we don't just see Ostrom Thexus as every fucking Merc pair, then I'm all for it. But
I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't
no.
think it's going to happen either.
It's not better than either of the lists.
Yeah.
I think you might see Ostrom Magnus too, but
I think that Magnus just hasn't had time to be explored yet.
yeah, I agree.
Okay, so let's move on from Irregulars.
So, no
Lilies.
change to Kingmaker, as far as I know.
No.
Laylee's resistance.
Italians next up.
Oh, Italian.
Talion's next up. So, it's Pirates, the theme force. You're allowed to take Privateer casters, non-character jacks, and Privateers. For every 25 points of Pirates, you get free Pirates.
Pirate solos. I assume?
Solos and weapon crews. Solos in the
Wait,
army game.
Solos and weapon crews?
Yeah, solos.
You
and-
get like 1 point rifles for free?
No, artillery crews.
Weapon crew.
Weapon crews,
Not
not weapon
weapon
attachments.
attachments.
Sea Dogs
Okay.
get gun crews.
Okay.
Is the Commodore cannon a weapon crew?
Let's find out.
It's a...
I don't think so.
No.
The Commodore cannon is a weapon crew.
Is it?
So you get a free Commodore cannon. That's pretty. Big
I'm
deal.
I'm very confident that's
Your really annoying solos get dodged. That's not irrelevant, not super great. And press gain gains ambush.
Mercenary Privateer Sea Dog Unit, Cannon Crew.
What does the deck gun say?
Don't see weapon crew anywhere.
okay.
Yeah, it's not.
So
like
it's a unit, and it counts towards your unit points too. Then
Yeah,
okay,
well, 'cause it's privateer.
but either way,
Yeah.
it's immaterial.
Yeah.
The theme list is designed where you can take, if you take like the correct number of dudes, you can take all of the, like you can take the pirate boat. Like
Yeah,
that's
you
the
get
way.
your pirate boat.
You get all the pirate support for free, basically.
Exactly. Like you can get, or like you're gonna have to buy some of them, and you probably won't take like Dirty Men, but like you can get like. You basically can get the pirate boat. Like that's the way it's designed to work.
Well, like Dirty Meg wasn't even in the original.
No, she wasn't.
Yeah,
I
she
thought
was.
She was. She was the one non-pirate.
It was not Bloody Bradigus.
It was
Bloody Bardigan.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Bradigan.
the
Which
like,
is sad because I bought him.
if
and I realized he
you
wasn't
like
allowed.
Mark Touche theme, I think you'll like this list. If not, I'm really not sure it's for you.
There's way more solos allowed now. You can take Swamp Gobber River Raiders.
Oh
I
snap!
played.
Yeah. Sea Dogs.
I played against Italian Charter. Like I got to play a game just goofing off, and like dodge on those solos is actually extremely relevant, especially when you have a Storm Rager Hawk running around the table. So like it's interesting.
What are the solos? It's Hawk, Dougal.
The one's allowed.
That's a lot.
Bloody
A lot of solos
Bradigan,
are allowed.
Bosun Grogspar, Dirty Meg, Doc Killingsworth, First Mate Hawk, Lord Rockbottom, Gunner McNow, and Swamp Gopper River Raiders, which is like 4 more than previous.
I don't think it matters. I don't think the Steam Force is.
Is Ayana and Holt still
Yes.
available? Okay.
I
Not-
hold
not
Devo
all-
Shadow, Commodore Cannon, Press Ganger, Sea Dogs, and Deck Guns.
Like not all theme lists are designed to be hyper competitive either. So
if you want
if you just want to play pirates, this is
Yeah.
a great way.
Yeah, that's what
if it's a pirate's life for you, then this is the
Yeah,
way
if
to go.
you like Pirates Life, you play this.
Absolutely.
Unless you like zombie pirates, then have I got a theme for you?
If you like the good pirates list, you can play the good pirates list. They're just dead. Lailies.
Now the most restrictive of lists.
So you can take Lailies casters, which as far as I'm aware is Ashland.
McBain, right?
He is specifically allowed, as is Kane 3. Non-character jacks, Lailies models
Gaston
units.
is Laylee's also
Yes, Gaston
But he's
is
not out
Lailies
yet.
model.
not out yet. Yes.
And also,
Gaston 2.
rumor Gordon 2 will be.
So Lailies models units, that's Gaston 1 and Thorn Gun Mages, I want to say.
Yeah, you essentially
And,
can take
Major
solos
Gibbs.
that are sympathetic to Signar. Like if they align with Signar, you can take them in this.
Yeah, it's Sam and the Devil Dogs, Dan and Blythe and Bull, Kobe Sterling, who's a newer solo, I think. Elish Garrity, the new guy from No Quarter Prime. Gobber Tinkers, Harlan, Madeline, Reinhold, Rupert, Rutger Shaw, and Silas. I guess Taryn's Lailies, because
Yes, she is.
yeah, she's Lailies gun mage. For the benefits, you can include up to 2 non-character Crucible Guard, Signar, or Protectorate units, which is not irrelevant. Like, you get 2 units of those factions. I'm not sure how much of a difference it'll make. Obvious choices play Choir.
And it
Choir
makes them
Rovens.
count as legalese.
Choir Robin is the obvious choice.
If you're gonna play a bunch of jacks. Yeah, I mean, there might be a list in here. It's going to take some experimentation. It's not immediately as obviously as powerful as Ostrom, Texas, Kingmakers.
No, it's not. Ace is a Merc model instead of a Signar model if you take Kane 3. For every full 20 points of units and solos, you get a command attachment or solo free. Lailies models get Pathfinder, and you get to deep strike a solo 18 inches up the board in a 5-inch rebel crater. Clockwork Legions. So sustained attack 2, the attack sustained. It's basically Mark II Axis Steam Force. You get Warcasters, non-character jacks, priest models units, and units with construct, which is all of the units and solos, I think.
Not priests.
You get
Priests are the only. Okay, well, priests are the only non-clockwork unit.
Okay, you get those. You get Merc solo or units, so you get Elish if you want it. Enigma Foundries become FA4.
Did you say Merc Solo or unit?
Yes, no unit works for conversions that I'm aware of.
No, but it's not Merc Solo and unit? Because that would be the only thing.
No, sorry, it's Merc solo and unit. My apologies.
It is and.
It is and. My apologies.
Sweet.
Enigma Foundries are FA4. For every full 20 points of convergence units, you get a convergence command attachment or free Enigma Foundry because it's convergence solo, so I'm assuming it's a free Enigma Foundry.
Sure.
So are we still... Is there a good convergence unit yet?
No.
Okay.
The Steam Force is pretty irrelevant.
Okay. Because I'm trying to build it
To
right
me,
now.
to me anyway. I think it's irrelevant. Obstructors are okay.
Are they?
The small
They're 18 points.
Or the big
No. The full unit obstructors, 18 points?
Max unit without UA is 18
Sorry, not the
points.
obstructors. The
The reductors. Reciprocators, sorry.
reciprocators, yes.
Obstructors are 11. The little guys?
Yeah, the obstructors.
The little guys are 11.
Yeah, those are not terrible.
12, 14s.
Medium-based
Sure,
cock units gain vengeance, so meh? Like, are any of the medium-based units good in this edition? I don't know.
I think
they're
Vengeance.
fucking awful.
I think Vengeance could potentially be interesting. I don't think it's as bad as everybody's just pushing it out of the way. I think there's something there.
That's fair. I think the real money is Shield Wall gets AD, though.
The problem is medium-based units getting vengeance is they're just the units are so bad.
Especially because when you take your vengeance attacks, you don't get to do their
Weapon
their
modulation.
modes. So they're just like Mat 6, POW 12. They're not that impressive.
Sure. Yeah.
Even your 18-point unit of 5 guys, once they take damage, sure, they get to walk 3 and swing with their Mat 6, POW 12, which is just so fucking irrelevant. They make Mana War attacks look like the best thing in the game.
Yeah, it's not great.
Destruction Initiative, no changes other than mercs from models that actually exist in the game.
I'll take this one.
Yep, go ahead. Trolls.
So, a couple quick changes to Trolls. Band of Heroes got opened up to Troll Blood units, no longer restricted to champions and warders. So that actually helps. That actually helps a lot with being able to get free stuff in that theme list. So that's promising.
So basically, the changes you get free points for Fin Blades and Creelstone now. That's a really big change.
And Fell Callers and Long Riders and Creel Warriors. Yeah, it opens up that theme list a lot because you used to only get points for Long Riders, Champs, and Warders.
Are Crew Warriors a new addition to Theme Force, or did I just never see it because it wasn't worth it?
You don't see Creel Warriors a lot because they're
not great, and they didn't add towards points.
And they lost the prayers in this edition, if I want to say.
They did, but that doesn't really matter.
They're just jam hard medium base, basically.
Yeah, essentially.
And then no other changes? That's a pretty positive change for Trolls, actually. That's a really big change.
It makes this theme list a lot more playable, a lot more palatable. One of the biggest problems you'll see with troll themes is before some of these changes, trolls were struggling to scrape up 4 points in a theme. Like 4 free points in a theme. Like we were struggling to get there. Which is just silly when you compare it to some of the other stuff that was floating around. Not necessarily in points values, because I don't think the points values in solos are particularly accurate, but it was something that you could identify as being just, you're not necessarily getting parity with what other people are getting. So it's nice to see that. Next is Krill Company, no changes. After that, you have Power of Dunia. The biggest change to this, the Dunia Knot. If you take a Dunia Knot in this army, it gains Sentry, or Serenity.
Oh, that's not bad.
I mean, you have to take Dunia Knot, so no. But you have to... And the problem is that you're already investing like tons of points into support anyway. So no, you're never going to see the Dunia Knot in this. I don't think anyway. I won't play it.
How many points is
you
a knot?
gave up 6.
That's a lot of points.
This is in the Creel Company?
No, this is in Power of Dunia. This is
Power of Dunia.
Oh. I'm not against this change.
Power of Dunia, Mulg is now added into the Power of Dunia.
So non-Doomy gets Mulg.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, non-Doomy can get Mulg. So Serenity change, and then that's pretty much it. Storm of the North, the Northkin theme force, it's everything that we knew it was going to be from CID. There's absolutely 0 changes from the final version of CID to this. Biggest things is it can, for every full 20 points of Troll Blood units and battle engines in this army, you can add 1 Troll Blood command attachment. Or you get free stuff, but the biggest thing is the battle engine will count. So the Northkin Hooch Hauler will count towards free points, which is cool. It's kind of depressing that the War Wagon doesn't, because you can't take the War Wagon in the theme.
Just the hooch hauler. That kind of makes sense, though.
I mean, it does. I was kind of hoping that maybe we would get it, but because right now you can only take the War Wagon in one theme in Trolls, and it's Creel Company, and that's really kind of sad because Creel Company kind of struggles to kind of keep up or keep parity with some of the other themes available to Trolls. But it's what I'm currently playing. It's been good so far.
I mean, Legion only gets the throne in one theme. I mean, there are other factions that only get their battle engines in one theme.
No, I'm not like crying foul or anything.
Yeah,
like
most
that.
of the factions only get their battle engine in 2 or 1. It's not a super big deal.
In Sons of the Sword, in the Northkin theme force, warrior models become Northkin models, and they gain immunity cold. Warlocks in this army can upkeep spells on Northkin models without spending Fury, which is probably the most bonkers.
So that's all
benefit.
warrior models, essentially.
Is Orchid 2 the only model that makes his battle group Northkin if they're not already?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I just want. Well, we're assuming at this point, but I feel like that's a safe assumption, even as much as I hate CID.
And before models are deployed, you can put down 2 4-inch AoE snowdrifts. Snowdrifts do pretty much nothing.
Don't they have to be within 20 of your table edge?
They're completely within 20 inches of your table edge.
That's what
Models
makes them feel pointless.
Models without immunity cold treat snowdrifts as rough terrain. Models with immunity cold gain concealment, which doesn't really matter much. And then you have Bones of Orboros. Big change there is Bones of Orboros gets Megalith, and every freaking Wold is being changed. So Wolds and Bradagus are going to be dumb again. I mean, really, really good again. Call of the Wild, not really any changes there.
Call of the Wild's new.
Minion, huh?
Call of the Wild is new. We got a spoiler on it this week, I think.
Yeah, it was like
That's
an
a new
insider
force.
theme force. It's brand new.
Oh, yeah, I guess we did get it in a insider. Didn't we? I don't know. I just had it stuck in my head. Call of the Wild, you get Brenos. That's one of the things. You can take Blackclad solos, Lord of the Feast, Gallows Grow solos. It's a living Warbeast theme. So for every 25 points of Warbeast, you get free stuff. When a living circle Warbeast in this army is forced to use its Animus, reduce the cost of the Animus by 1. That's actually pretty huge.
Unless
What?
you're playing Tanith
And
and she
Hephaestus.
feeds.
Get
Unless you're
wrecked.
playing and she feeds.
Does
It's relevant, but it's funny.
does Lightning Strike cost 1 now?
Yes.
It's obvious. It's obvious. That's just. I mean, I'm sure that'll get fixed. But you gain +1 to your starting roll for the game. It may not get fixed. Who knows? Devourer's Host. You can take a minion solo and a minion unit. That's actually really interesting for Wormwood. So I'm kind of curious now if Wormwood goes back to kind of the same stuff he was doing with having the min unit of bone grinders and blah 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 blah.
I think I think the Swamp Shamblers are more important to him.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
Because you can take you could just take the Blood Witches and eat those. They're fairly cheap.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair. Secret Masters theme force. This is the Blackclad theme force. So you get Circle Blackclad Warlocks. You get Blackclad models or units. Everything includes Shifting Stones. Everything can take Gallows Groves. There's no themes that can't. For every 20 points of Blackclad, you get free stuff. Blackclad Warrior models gain Sack Pawn Minion Warrior model, which is kind of interesting. And then friendly models or units can begin the game affected by upkeeps.
I think the really big thing to note is you can take all of the non-character war beasts. You're not forced to choose between rock monsters and wolves, which is
Sure.
quality of life change, I guess, because it doesn't count towards points.
Sure, and Wild Hunt, which is the next theme force that didn't change at all, also did the same thing. You could dip both sides of the circle.
Is this the Tharn, or not the Tharn, the Wolfsworn theme force?
Yes.
Okay.
The Wild Hunt is the Wolfsworn theme force.
All right.
So this one is the Blackclad one. But there's no changes to that one. So the Scorn theme force, Disciples of Agony. This one's kind of new. It's been talked about a lot. This is minions, but better. And so you have access to Pengiver Warlocks, which is Morgul, Zikar, and Naresh. Yeah. And then you have access to Pengiver models, right? So you can add non-character minion warbeasts to your battle group. For every 20 points, you get free stuff. Paingiver models in this army gains Sack Pawn Minion Warrior model. And then 1 Paingiver Blood Runner unit in this army gains Ambush, which that's actually really interesting because Paingiver Blood Runners are no joke when they get into melee. So, at least against other infantry. So that might actually be really, really good for them.
It might be. I think you'll just mostly see Brigands, though. For the Sack Pawn, Brigands are just very good.
Yeah, Brigands are basically towards Adrian's Plus, which is really
You might
good.
see some points spent towards on Blood Runners. I mean, Ambush is not bad unless you're playing against
Blood
Jaws.
Runners
Getting worse every day.
I have a feeling the initial builds we'll see are Beast Bricks with Minion Animi, and then we'll see it evolve from there. Because I'm just assuming we're going to see Scorn players do it's like, how hard can I break Primal or Rage, and then it will develop from there.
See how many Archidons we can put on the table.
Yeah,
With
see
Primal.
how many Archidons they can kill your caster with Rash. Yep.
The next theme force is the Exalted, which I don't think was officially released, but it's been spoiled beyond belief, which is Exalted models or units, Extoller models or units. So the Scorn War Beasts in this army gain Death Rage. So essentially when you kill them, they can advance 3 inches and punch stuff, ignoring the effects of crippled systems. That's not that big of a... The big thing is with this theme list is that each model in this army with Soul Taker special rule begins the game with a soul.
What are those models?
Exalted models are units, so Ancestral Guardians, Hakan the Destroyer, Extoller Soul Wards, Extoller Advocates. For that matter,
Some
is it
of
just
the
models?
casters.
Yeah, each model in this
Mordekar?
army, yeah. So Zal 1, Zal 2.
Does Mordekar have Soul Taker?
I don't.
I
He
thought Soul
might be.
Taker was the kill enemy models rule, but I might be just... No, I'm thinking of Soul Cage. Never mind.
Doesn't matter. If they can collect souls, they get a soul.
Yeah, if they can collect souls, they get a soul.
Okay.
Which is really good. It's really good. We've already seen the Imperial War Host. That was already released. And then we have Masters of War, which is essentially what old Fist of Halak used to be, but they added like a lot of Praetorian stuff in it too.
Okay, so it's like Makita 2, Xerxes 1 being force mashed together.
Exactly.
So trained warrior models, basically.
Yeah, and Tiberian, the thing to note is that Tiberian is part of this theme. Like, you can take him just in the theme. And Basilisk Kriyas are also in the theme. So, for every 20 points of Cataphract and Praetorians, you get free stuff. Models disabled by a melee attack made by Scorn Warrior model in this army. It's tough down. It's Takedown, but it's the modified version of Takedown to work with
The
Band of
choose-
Heroes.
Basically,
It's
choose,
Band
right?
of Heroes to take down.
And then you gain +1 to your starting roll for the game. And that's that theme force. Winds of Death didn't change, other than the Merc Minion change. That is Scorn, and we are at Legion, if Karl, you'd like to take it.
All right, so Children of the Dragon didn't change. Oracles of Annihilation went through some changes. One change, really. Instead of every 25 points of War Beast granting a free solo, now every 30 points of War Beast grants a free solo. So the max you can ever have is 3. But the max number of War Beasts you need to take for a free solo is now 90, which means before, if you basically took any unit, you were losing points, essentially. Like, a min unit of Hex Hunters costs 9, but it really costs like 15 because you're losing 13 because you're losing a 4-point solo. Now, when you get to that 90 points of Beasts, you can start looking at the Black Frost Shard, the Ice Witches when they come out, min units of Hex Hunters, and then throwing a free Baal on there. It's a lot easier to fit those things in. It's a straight nerf because it's less points of free models, but it does add some flexibility to the theme that I'm actually kind of interested in. We'll see. And you can also look at just minion options. Primal Terrors is the new theme. It's an Ogren theme force, so it includes Legion Warcasters, non-character war beasts. You get to take Golab in the theme force, which is the new Ogren caster's character war beast, and his animus has been spoiled as Lightning Strike. So I think that's actually pretty neat. Giving Callus 1 access to sprint, giving Ryas 2 access to sprint, giving Thagrosh 1 access to sprint. Those are all casters that want to get up in the shit and use their sticks. So it's kind of cool that they get to have sprint in the theme force. Obviously it's not out yet, so they don't have it right now, but Blighted Ogren model units, Blighted Rotwing units, which we know nothing about. Hellmouths. It's finally happened. Forsaken and Spell Martyrs. So the benefits, 1 minion unit and solo. For every 20 points of Legion units in this army, you can add a Hellmouth, 1 Blighted Ogryn command attachment, or 1 medium-based Blighted Ogryn solo to the unit for free. So they're all 5 to 6 points. So you're gonna, if you take the max number of Ogryns, you're gonna end up with 18 points, which is it's a lot of 3 points. I don't know if you will. I think we'll see. Blighted Ogryn Warmongers gain Vengeance, which is neat. I actually want to try that with Warmongers. And your deployment zone is extended 2 inches forward. So I think it's pretty much everything I wanted from the Ogryn theme.
The 2 inches forward is the thing I have a problem with.
You have a problem with that?
So does that also push Hellmouth?
I mean,
Sure.
it doesn't have the battle engine, so it's like not completely everything you want. I think we have to see it played.
I'm not that worried about the Ogryns. I just don't
Plus 2 deployment on
want the
Hellmouths.
Hellmouths 2 inches farther forward.
Sure. Buffs the
That's
Hellmouths
the only
being,
problem I have with it.
being
I don't mind them
Brandon's-
being free. I think it's not a crazy amount of points. I just, I don't know why they needed to get plus 2
So,
deployment.
Carl,
I don't
what
think it's gonna matter.
What casters are you looking to play this with besides Rice one?
Rice 1, Twins, when Skull Lab comes out. Callus 1, obviously. Maybe Callus 2, because Overrun and Sprint seems cool.
And Battle List.
I don't know if Sprint's going to be that relevant. It's only Sprint on him. He already has reposition. He likes to spend his fury.
Sure.
Oh.
I said,
It's not bad.
I said maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe Veil 2. Occultation, Boundless Charge, Icy Grip. Those are all things Ogryn want. It's got Hellmouths, it's got Ogryn. It gives probably the worst Ogryn unit a neat benefit. It's probably not as good as it will be once everything's released. I mean, I want to see what the Ogryn Cab do. I want to see what the Rotwing units do, obviously. I want to see what the Ogryn Caster does. And they'll probably go through a round of CID, which could see some Ogryn buffs, because they're not the best infantry right now. They could probably stand a buff or two.
Warmongers don't seem super great.
Right, but Warmongers with Vengeance might be worth trying. I don't know. I'm excited to try it.
No, it seems really interesting. I'm glad
see
to
what
see
happens.
more Ogryn on the table. They've always been a fun unit.
So Ravens of War did get a change. Ravens of War now allows Hellmounts, which probably makes an unplayable theme force at least worth looking at now, which is good. Because Oracles was very strong, but it was also the fact that Children and Ravens were really bad. I think making Ravens better obviously is good when you knock down Oracles. I think that's a good give and take.
The other change is that instead of taking away AD, it does take away Ambush.
Right, the same change to Jaws. So no more taking away AD, now you take away Ambush, which is fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Is that all the Legion themes?
That is
There's
all
only 4?
the Legion themes.
Minions, the Blindwater congregation didn't really change. Or I'm sorry, Blindwater is new, technically. It's not new, it was released a little bit ago. Same benefits, nothing really changed. Thornfall Alliance, nothing really changed. Although, I think they added Lanissa Rissel to her list. I think some of the solos may have changed up a little bit. With that being said, Blindwater, I want to say they got access to more solos, like there's more different stuff you can take, but don't quote me on that one yet. The biggest one is Will Work for Food. It's essentially minion warlocks, non-character war beasts, minion character units, the Boil Master, which is a unit not released yet, Pharaoh Bone Grinders, Valkyries, which is not released yet, Swamp Gobbers Bellows Crew, Minion Solos, Brun and Lug, Dalian Scareth, Worship Brine, Wrong-Eyed Snapjaw, and the Minion Battle Engines. For every 25 points of War Beasts, you can get a solo. War Beasts in this army gain Overtake, which is really interesting with a Swamp Horror. That might be really cool. War Beasts in this army gain +2 speed while running during your first turn. Additionally, War Beasts in this army can run without being forced on your first turn.
That seems pretty good. +4 inches of movement on 1 is good.
Yeah,
Seems
seems really
insane.
good.
And that
Cadence.
25 points is War Beast and the Lesser Warlocks.
Yes, it is War Beasts and Lesser Warlocks. When I saw this theme list, I immediately thought like, oh, this is what Rask wants. Because this is essentially the Rask list I was playing, only now it's in theme and gets cool benefits.
Just like the whole petting zoo list basically is now in theme.
Yeah, pretty much. Grimkin didn't change at all. I mean, they had some minor changes, but Bump in the Night and Dark Menagerie really didn't change. They still are what they are.
Does Elish work for Grimkin?
He can. The thing is,
He works
is
for everyone.
It's not
Yeah,
very
he
good.
can. He's just not in. He's not in any of the themes, so I don't
Oh,
know
they
if
didn't
that'll
have
get
the
a.
Merc Minion unit to them?
They
Or Minion unit
did.
solo?
Yeah, they did.
They did.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. They did. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was looking at that. I was looking at the composition rules and wasn't thinking straight. So, but other than that, like Bump in the Night and Dark Menagerie didn't change. They're still the same.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for tonight.
Pretty much.
Nice little 3-hour podcast.
We didn't even get that off topic.
We
We really didn't.
maybe not too bad.
For this podcast.
Well, this has been Karl.
Carl's in a hurry. He wants out of here.
Yep.
A little sleepy. The whiskey's catching up. to me.
I've only called 2 faction groups bad at the game. I think we can go for another 3 hours.
I mean, clearly trolls are with the way Scott was talking.
I mean, I already called them bad. So.
This has been Karl. Bye.
This has been Seabass.
Jeremy.
Richard.
And Brandon. Good night.